Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to show you guys how to make a basic AI agent. We're going to go over the steps, the flow, how it works, and then we're going to check out some code as well, some to demo something like this. And we're just going to focus on the AI parts of the code. I'll make it very simple to understand, very beginner friendly. I'm going to ignore anything involving the graphics in the code, and there's a link to this code in the description of this video below as well. So it'll be a Google Drive link, so just download that. And yeah, let's just kind of get started, okay? So we're gonna turn this task or this series of steps, aka it's called a workflow, into a AI agent, right? So an AI agent, to review, is essentially a workflow, right? And somewhere along that workflow, an AI model will make, probably LLM, but that's not always the case, can make a decision on its own without you, right? If if an AI is used to do something, but it didn't decide, it's just like, hey, make a blue square. That's not per se a decision that was made, right? It's doing what you said, make a blue square, and it shows you the blue square. But if you give it an option and it chooses one of the options in that flow, then that is essentially what makes it an AI agent, right? Now you can have one AI in the whole system, you can have multiple AIs in the system creating this agent, right? Or it's a group of agents working together, right? So in this task, right, we're going to pretty much type a task. So pretty much we're making a priority agent, right? This agent is gonna prioritize our to-do list, our task list. So let's say I have life and I have work and just whatever else I got going on, I make a list. The AI is gonna prioritize that list for me, so I know what's the most important thing to get done first, right? And the part that's AI is the red part. So at the end of it, right, which is the last thing that needs to get done, is that the model is going to decide the order, right? It's going to look at how long it might take, how difficult it is, you know, just yeah, things like that. Right? It's going to process and analyze the tasks and figure out like how much time it probably might take, or is that task something that's really really important based on the words that's in it, essentially. So yeah, and it's making a decision for you, right? You didn't tell it to pick this one, pick that one, pick this one, pick that one, right? You didn't give it a set of rules. You kind of give it a blank like scope, like, hey, here's the goal, here's like the basic criteria, figure it out on your own. That's This is what makes it an AI agent, right? So the first thing is we're gonna type in a task into like the graphic, like the small mini app. Then we're gonna press the add task button. Then we keep on adding tasks, and then we're gonna press the prioritize button, right? And then from there, the model is gonna decide the order based on what it thinks is most important and least important, or high priority or low priority. And that's pretty much it. And this is like a very basic low level AI agent, right? Now, here's another example of one that's similar, but we're not going to make this one, just to give you an idea. Blue represents like regular, normal software engineering, software coding, where it does something automatically. That's not an AI agent, right? So let's say to do the same thing, we do it in a different flow. Let's say the first step is the code or the app or whatever the system on your phone will pull tasks from your phone, either using text messages, emails, notepad, your to-do list on your phone, right? That is just regular coding. AI grabbing information from your text messages, your phone, your email, that could just be simple software engineering. Yes, you can use AI in it possibly, but the AI helping you grab stuff, that's not an agent though, because they didn't decide anything. It's just looking for words that you probably point out for it to grab and grabbing it. But I guess you could make that an AI agent in itself. But let's just say you can do this with just regular code, okay? And then the next step would be the model would decide, the order of the task, right? The priority order, and then some basic code is just showing you the task, right? When you go on your app, you see the list of the tasks that you need to do, different colors, different order, and the AI chose these things for you, right? It chose that order, okay? And that's kind of like being like an assistant, right? When you have like, I know a lot of rich billionaires, they wake up sometime, like some rich billionaires, they have an assistants that decide the order of their whole day. They just wake up and they just start doing stuff based on the list that their assistant gave to them, right? They just know what needs to get done first based on what the person told them, right? Very similar concept. Okay. Yes. So we're gonna build this. So the next thing you're gonna need an OpenAI API. The website link that you need is this guy right here. You need to go to this exact link, and you'll see something like this, right? You need to sign in and make an account, and it will cost you money. Right now, the AI agents that you probably want to make probably gonna cost you money in the sense that you have to use one of the fancy models, right? Which means your AI agent also probably needs internet access. Yes, you can probably use a localized model, but it needs to be very specific, and the task can't be super complicated, or it can't involve a lot of like it just can't be a complicated task. It has to be very, very simple. So more than likely you're gonna have to use a large language model that is, on a server via OpenAI, Cloud AI, Gemini. And if you want to make an app with it, you're gonna have to use an API caller, or maybe if you're using Copilot at work, Copilot, your company pays for Copilot essentially, right? So yes, or you can use a free local model to make one, but they're not that effective and they're really buggy, and it's probably not gonna do what you want it to do. So just keep that in mind, okay? So I have a link below telling you how to make an API key from OpenAI, and you're gonna save this API key on your computer somewhere safe, and you just have it on standby whenever you need it. I have mine ready. You're not gonna see my API key because you will just rob me. Um, well, I'm not saying you're gonna rob me, but safety first, okay? I'm not assuming anything, but the point is, yes, that I'm gonna have my API key, so I'm just gonna copy and paste it inside, but you're not gonna see my API key itself. So once you get your API key and you sign up, then we'll go to the Pycharm code. This code will also be in the description below. I think I said that, so just kind of follow along with me on how the code works. So we're using Pycharm, okay? So open up a new Pycharm file and copy and paste the code into Pycharm right here. So probably you'll get like a notepad. You just copy and paste the notepad directly into here, right? The first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna go to terminal. You're gonna type here. You're gonna type pip install OpenAI. So we're using that one. You can use a different. You don't have to use OpenAI for everything. You can use other models that are better suited for your situation. I'm just going with something simple, something generic that everyone knows about. Okay, so you're gonna type, hit enter on that, and pip install it. Right. Cool. I already had it. So now I'm gonna right click and run my code. And I made this with the thought of it being for beginners that are gonna use it. So I'm not making it super robust, super complex. It's something very, very simple. I'm gonna switch to the 3.5 model because I don't want to spend that much money. And each request costs like a couple cents, like literally like 0.03, like 3 cents per like thing, the action that it does, which is really, really cheap. So if you put in $10 in there, $10 can go a long way when you're running this thing. So they're not expensive to run. Okay, let me clarify that. So anywho, set up OpenAI key. So now I'm gonna place my key in here. So the key you have, where's my key? I'm gonna copy and paste it right here. Press OK. Now it's connecting. So this is why I say you need internet connection. Cool. Now it's connected to the API. Cool. So now I'm connected to OpenAI's ChatGPT model, or the GPT 3.5 Turbo model. Now I'm gonna write out my task for the day, right? So let's say my task is take a 5-minute walk. I'm gonna add that task. The AI is analyzing it. Okay, cool. It's a low priority. Okay. Fix the bug at work for the live app. Obviously, the more details you add, the better it's going to analyze the situation, right? So it thinks that's urgent, and it's just right. So the first thing the AI is going to do is it's going to mark it like, oh, it thinks this will take like 0.1 hours. This will take 1.3 hours potentially, and it's have a lot of context. The more context you give it, the better the guess of the number is, essentially, or how long it thinks it will take. And based on the words you use, it'll figure out, is it super urgent or is it not that urgent, right? Cook dinner. Yeah, cook dinner. Right, I'm gonna add that task. High priority. I guess eating is a high priority. Take a 10-minute nap because I am super exhausted. Yep. And let me do document code for the AI workflow you made. Where is it at? And they're still popping up at the bottom. Okay. The last thing I need to do is go to the doctor for my allergy medicine. Cool. Add that in there. It's at the bottom. Medium. Cool. So it's figuring out the priorities, right? So now when I click on this right here, it's gonna now order the tasks to what it thinks is the top priority to the lowest priority. So when I click this, and that's what it did. So now it moved everything into the order that it thinks is high priority to low priority, right? So pretty much anything white, if you miss it, not a big deal, right? It's kind of what it's telling you. And something that's red is like, you need to do this as soon as possible. So that's what it's pretty much telling you right now. And everything else is like your normal everyday to-do list after you get the most important thing done for survival. And then, you know, everything else is also just important, just as important, right? And the fact that, I wonder if I just take a nap will change everything. Take another 5-minute nap. I wonder if that would change. Yeah, so you see how take another 5-minute nap is low priority, but the other one involving a nap was high priority because I added the details because I'm super exhausted. So it's realizing what's going on and it just understands the task that it needs to do, right? And this is a very basic AI agent, right? You can make a lot of other cool ones. You can, you know, attach it to a bunch of different apps on your phone and other things, but this is a basic one. Use some code, okay? Now we're gonna go over the code really quick, just so you can understand what's going on and how the back of it works, right? What's going on in the brain. All of this, just we're importing all the tools we need to build the product, right? We have a product that has a bunch of parts. We're downloading some tools to build these parts. Cool. So pretty much we're gonna try to connect to, pretty much we're gonna try to download the OpenAI library, which is how we're able to connect to ChatGPT stuff. And if that doesn't work, it'll let you know it didn't work. You probably need to pip install it, right? Which you already did. This is a class. This creates a class of priority. Essentially, this is how it figures out like something is low, medium, high, urgent. So we're creating a class that we apply to the task itself that categorizes it from low to urgent priority, right? Then we have another class that we're creating, which is the task class. The task class has a bunch of attributes or a bunch of qualities or a bunch of components that make it up. Think of this as if this was the word car, and this would be like hood, engine, wheels, right? Seats, like, you know, is there gas inside? That's kind of like the idea. So the task has a bunch of properties that we want to like write down and make sure that are there. You know, so we have the importance score, urgency score, estimated hours, how long it's going to take, the priority of it, you know, the description, the title, the ID, right? Completed, is it completed or not? You know, by default, it's not going to be completed because, you know, the task isn't done yet, you know, and then the reasoning string, which is that extra text. So all these parts of the task are being shown to you. Yeah, I deleted it, or I closed it. All the parts of that task that you saw, like the description of the AI, why I thought it was important and stuff like that, and you saw all of these things. We grabbed that to display it in the graphic, right? But you need to have this information set up for the task. Cool. Then we have one more class called the OpenAI engine, right? I'm trying to skip over the visual stuff. So essentially, this grabs your API key, right? This grabs the model that we asked for, which is OpenAI Turbo 3.5 Turbo. Sorry, it's a mouthful. Yeah, and this creates a client. So the client kind of like, they have a server, you have a client, and they're just talking to each other. So you're sending a request over, and it's sending you information back based on your request, right? Like every time, like when you press a button, the prioritize the AI button, that's sending a request over to OpenAI, that company, and they send it back a response, which is some value that does the ordering, okay? So that's not really how it works, but that's like the basic concept, okay? So that's pretty much what the client's for, right? This is the test it to make sure that it's working. It's kind of like before you buy a car, you take it for a test drive. This is the fastest test drive you ever seen in your life, just to make sure that their AI system is working. Because if their system is down, this is not going to work. Just so you know. And then connection, and then once it connects, then it tells you that it's done. Now, if you have any errors or issues, these will tell you that there's an error issue, and it'll try to tell you why you have a problem or what the issue is exactly. Like if you don't have, invalid API key, if you just put a random number in there, you need to go get your own API key. Rate limit exceeded, that means you used it too much in one day or too much in an hour, right? OpenAI error, which means there's something going on their end, and then just something going on with your system overall. Then we have the code. So this is us building a part, right? We're building our own part or our own tool within the app itself, and this includes all of this. Just so you know, yeah, all of this highlighted is part of the function. So the best way to explain it is, this is checked to see that the connection between your computer and the OpenAI computer is working, and then we have a prompt. This is the prompt. So in the previous video, 2 videos ago, I think it's video number 18, I believe, but check out my video series about learning AI as a beginner. There's plenty of great content there. So pretty much this is a prompt, right? We're sending a prompt over to OpenAI. So we built a connection, like a bridge, right? A communication, like a call. And now we're sending it our request. So when we press that button to prioritize it, it sends this over to OpenAI, and then it sends us back an answer, and we use that answer to switch the order of the task around, right? The priority list. So, and this prompt is pretty much instructions, and the task text is pretty much what a hole that we put inside our. It's a hole in the prompt, but we fill it in when we're using the app and we type in the task. It will put the task inside here itself, and then it'll send that over to ChatGPT, right? That's pretty much how it works. So this is pretty much a prompt engineering app in a way, but we're telling the LLM to decide something for us. So this is telling it to decide something for us, make a decision, process it, think about it, and then tell us, what happened back. Kind of like a human. If you have an assistant, you tell it, hey, you give them some basic guidelines of what you need, some basic instructions, and then they figure out the rest on their own. You're not there holding their hand through the whole process, right? This is what we're kind of doing here, okay? You see, effort required, how important is it? Is it urgent, deadline, time-sensitive nature, dependencies and blocking factors? Is this affecting something else, right? Because if you were to tell the AI, oh, I need to do this for task 1, and then you mention, oh, for task 2, I need to finish task 6. It's going to keep in mind what task is affecting another task. So it's going to know to put the one that comes first to finish. Does that make sense? Yeah, like let's say I need to finish task 2 before task 6. I'll make sure task 2 is before task 6. Wow, what a tongue twister. But you get the idea. So it automatically knows on its own without you having to tell it that. Cool. Now this just pretty much unravels the response. So when they send a response, they send the response in like in a special box, and we open that response, okay? And then we use that response in our code behind the scenes, and you don't see it. Cool. Well, this whole thing is part of that unwrapping part. Yeah, all of this is the unwrapping part. Yeah. The rest of this is not easy to explain, I'm not going to lie to you, because now we're getting to JSON, which is the form that the response comes in. But just understand that this part is just collecting the information from OpenAI, which is the response, and using that response. Like all of this, but where did it go? Wow, I passed it. That's wow. Okay, like all of this stuff above is about using the response to help prioritize the task, essentially. Okay. Parse text response. This is part of the coloring thing. So this is used for coloring them. You see, you saw like the low priority was white, urgent was red. This kind of attaches a priority to the task itself, which was the urgent, low, high, and that fixed the color, right? And then, yes, so these are some keywords. So pretty much this is like the backup plan. If the AI isn't working, or the app or the connection can't connect, or something's not working, and pretty much this is like a backup plan in case the AI can't answer the question, using some keywords to find out what's important and what's not important. That's what this is for. Okay, so these are just a bunch of lists that will help it figure out what to do if there is no AI available. We just use basic normal programming to figure it out. by finding keywords in the task and using that to prioritize it, right? Cool. So this, it can be, it's kind of self-explanatory, but it's pretty much, it's like the engine to the whole process, which is, I'm trying to explain this in a simple way. This is like the engine we need for the car, right? And a lot of the engine is going to be based off of the OpenAI model that we're using, right, to do all this process, because AI agents need to be intelligent enough to understand the situation and figure out things on its own, which are pretty much the newer models, if you have a task that requires some deep thinking. Okay, and we'll just stop there for now. That's the basics of it. I'm not trying to confuse you guys too much because there's a lot here that's going on involving the priority and stuff like that, which gets nitty gritty. And then now we have the graphics, right? Because this is the graphic stuff right here. This is also the graphic stuff. Yeah, all of this is the graphics. Yeah, this is the coloring or the show status. Yeah, set up OpenAI. Yeah, cool. Yeah, this is add task. Yeah, so a lot of this stuff is going to be the graphics, and at the very bottom is the, yeah, this deletes the tasks. Okay, this is the delete button. It's all part of the graphics, but just know that the main is pretty much the finished product. All the pieces that we built, which is all these functions and classes, are parts that get glued together into a product, and the product is called main. Like we just called it main. This main function is everything combined together into one product, and this is the start button at the end of the day. Okay, cool. So that's pretty much the basics of it. All right, I'm not trying to get too deep. If you have questions, and I also recommend, if you really want to know what's going on immediately, I'm gonna make another video going deeper into this in a different series. But the point is, if you want to understand this now on a deeper level, you could put it into a LLM like ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini and ask it to explain the code to you line by line. That's a possible thing as well, you know, so that we can learn on your own time at your own pace, and also you can ask it questions. Because you can't just ask me a question right now and I answer it quick, right? You might want an immediate response. But on that note, if you want to learn AI from me one-on-one, if you would like me to teach you and your company or your people AI, if you want me to help you integrate AI into your business, like how to make things faster, how to save more money, how to make more money using AI potentially, right? Or you just want to understand the concepts, or you want to just like test an idea, see if an idea is like plausible, if it's actually AI or not, reach out to me. Email me below. I'm here and available for all of it. I even build automation systems for AI apps as well. So that's pretty much it for this video, guys, and I really appreciate you watching. All right, peace.